Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLuga. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Monday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day to everyone out there, to everyone that served. Really appreciate y'all. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate all the veterans. So, takeaways from the Jaguars' loss to the Minnesota Vikings. An embarrassing loss, to be sure. A loss in which the Jaguars just could not put up any points, could not capitalize on the turnovers that they forced defensively. There's so much to talk about with this football game, obviously, right? But we're going to offer my top takeaways here from the Jaguars' 12-7 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. Jaguars fall to 2-8. Minnesota Vikings now 7-2, right? They are a good football team. There's no question about it. And the Jaguars, they did hang close, but I still think that beyond the final result, beyond only losing by 5 points, it was an embarrassing loss, and we're going to dive into it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear, become a channel member here on YouTube. Appreciate everyone's support. Really do. So my biggest takeaway here is, and I don't say this lightly, that should be Doug Peterson's final game as the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. It should be. For a multitude of reasons, I think we can get into it. I think, bottom line, this is a results-based business. The NFL is. It is heavily results-based. And the results over the last 16 games for the Jaguars, almost a full season of football, they're 3-13 in their last 16 games. Absolutely unacceptable, especially when you consider the expectations. The expectations in 2023, win your division, make the playoffs. The expectations in 2024 internally was that this was the best football team, the best coaching staff that this franchise has had. That's what the internal expectations were. They're 2-8 this year. They're 3-13 in their last 16 games. That is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And I say, this should be Doug's final game, knowing full well that I still 100% believe in 2022 when Doug Peterson was hired, he was a decent hire. He needed to get this franchise moving in a direction where players could feel trust. Doug Peterson talked about that a lot, where he could get the offense going in a little bit of a better direction, which he did. Get Trevor Lawrence back on track a little bit, which he did. But it's devolved. I think that from a leadership standpoint, for whatever reason, Doug Peterson, instead of when adversity hit, maybe trying to change some things up a little bit, learn from the past, I think that Doug Peterson has just said, we're just going to press forward. Pun intended, right? Press Taylor. I don't think that Press Taylor has been the problem with the Jaguars offense, but I do believe that Doug Peterson has a Press Taylor problem, right? He was the reason, Doug Peterson's unwillingness to go in a different direction offensively, that Doug Peterson is no longer in Philly. And then now, same thing, I think, and I think the Press Taylor situation is kind of emblematic of Doug Peterson's whole issue, is that he's unwilling to change. Like, he's unwilling to make an assessment of what's happened and try to change it. He just wants to push forward. He just wants to, hey, we're going to keep going at it. We're going to keep doing exactly what we've been doing, and we're going to get it right. That, he said it. That's the definition of insanity. Just keep doing the same thing over and over. And he said that in a press conference this year. But he said that's what we're going to do. I mean, so Doug Peterson's unwillingness to change, I think, has really doomed his tenure here. I also think, just leadership at the top, the direction, the vision, not shared between the front office and the coaching staff quite clearly. This should be Doug Peterson's final game. His post game was, super snarky. Responding to Brent the way he did, responding to Brent Martineau the way he did, I thought was unacceptable. I don't want to say anything else other than I think it was unacceptable. Brent Martineau asking about the final play and Doug Peterson saying, "I'm not going to explain it to y'all because you wouldn't understand it anyways. You wouldn't figure it out." It's like Doug seems to have like a personal issue with the media asking questions, and the media is the gateway between the team and the fans, right? Brent Martineau isn't asking that question to show up Doug Peterson or any of the players. He's asking that question because the fans want to know these types of questions. What happened on the final play, right? Why did it go down the way it went down? Fans, when you're a 2-8 football team, 3-13 in your last 16 games, deserve answers to those types of questions. It was a completely fair question. And to respond that way, and he's responded that way to almost everyone at this point this year, right? Media wise, like that wasn't the first time he's behaved that way and kind of just been rude or whatever, responded in an unacceptable manner. So that's the sign of somebody who's kind of lost it a little bit in terms of their leadership, right? That's not leadership. Still no Brian Thomas targets. Like what? He didn't get targeted till the fourth quarter. Teams that are struggling offensively need to find ways to get their best players the football, and the Jaguars have consistently not done that the last couple weeks, right? It's mind blowing. It really is. So that's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Um, I also thought it was interesting. There's been kind of a through line about Doug rarely kind of will stand up at the podium and go to bat for Trevor Lawrence. He's done it at times, certainly. I think when he felt like he had to. But right there to defend Mac Jones in this one. Mac Jones, the plan was poor offensively. It was. But Mac Jones also played pretty darn poorly. I mean, the interceptions, unbelievable. How many times he was throwing it up. Reckless with the football. And Doug was right there to defend them, to defend him and fall on the sword when he, again, rarely does that for his franchise quarterback. It's something. It is something. We'll talk about the rest of the takeaways. I just wanted to focus on the Doug Peterson of it all, the head coach of it all, because, again, I don't think he should be continuing to be the head coach of this football team. Before we get into the rest of the takeaways, y'all got to check out Underdog Fantasy for Pick'em and a whole lot more. You can use code Duval Daily on their easy-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash Pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. This season, Underdog's running a special promo or bonus almost every single day. Like Profit Boost, you can pump up your winning in just a tap when you apply the boost to eligible entries. There's going to be tons of options coming up for the Jaguars taking on the Detroit Lions. Rough football game there, right? Maybe you want to look at one of the running backs to score. Underdog has vulture protection to rescue your pick'em if your running back gets vultured. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Duval Daily to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona. Present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. So, continuing on with our top takeaways, there's a lot of folks talking about, Mac Jones. He's going to have a great game for the Jaguars. Mac Jones ain't it, folks. Sorry to disappoint, but Mac Jones is not it. Trevor Lawrence is it. He absolutely is. Trevor Lawrence, what a day for everyone that has, rightfully come to Trevor Lawrence's defense The Jaguars offense looks completely hopeless without him. Completely hopeless. Uh, yeah, not surprising, right? Trevor Lawrence, not perfect by any stretch to this point in his young career. He has had stretches of close to perfect play. End of 2022, a lot of the beginning of 2023, he was just playing great football. This year, it's been a little bit more up and down, but you can see why when you now take Trevor Lawrence out of the picture and what that picture looks like without him. Yeah, you can kind of see um, why he's had a lot of ups and downs. I mean, poor play calling, poor game management coaching wise, poor play sequencing, not great talent outside of a couple guys on that offense, right? So Trevor Lawrence is clearly the Jaguars franchise quarterback. Obviously, from a monetary standpoint, contract standpoint, he is the Jaguars franchise quarterback. But from a play standpoint, he is a guy that you would want to be your franchise quarterback. I think that this type of day clearly shows that that's the case. The Jaguars offense, from a play calling standpoint, from an execution standpoint, completely inept without him. So good day for Trevor Lawrence. Very good day for Trevor Lawrence. The defense to me got really lucky, right? Sam Darnold kind of just very loose with the football at times throughout this game, but they were moving the ball. They were absolutely moving the ball. Um, Pretty crazy how effective the Vikings offense was in only putting up 12 points, which you can credit the Jaguars defense for making some plays when they were there to be made. But Sam Darnold had 241 yards passing and was moving the ball quite a bit, and they were able to run the ball effectively. Couldn't cover TJ Hawkinson, no surprise there, or Josh Oliver. Tight ends absolutely crushed the Jaguars defense, which is not a surprise. Buster Brown's interception in the end zone. For the second straight week, the Jaguars were gifted a turnover by the officials. So the defense, to me, like you can say, oh well, this is a really encouraging performance by the defense. They were able to force turnovers. They were able to hold the Vikings to 12 points. Those things are true, and I think that individually there were certainly some impressive performances. Tyson Campbell, I was very, very impressed with him, limiting Justin Jefferson to 5 catches on 48 yards. Awesome performance. And he got his hand in there on that Foye Lukin interception. Helped Foye get that INT. So that was awesome from him. I thought, Ventrell did a lot of good things. So that was, seeing that coverage play he made was pretty cool on Aaron Jones, Ventrell Miller. So I think that the Jaguars are in a good situation at linebacker overall, but defensively there's still a lot of issues. And, kudos to the guys who went out there and did make plays on the turnovers. But Darnold was really kind of gifting them a lot of those. And then the officials gifted the Buster Brown interception as well, which was a valiant effort, a good effort by Buster Brown, but it was not a catch. It was not an interception. Ball clearly hit the ground. So, yeah, kudos for making the plays that were there, getting them some interceptions, forcing an interception in Tyson Campbell's situation there. But to me, this wasn't like a super impressive defensive performance. They did a good job limiting Justin Jefferson, but overall, the Vikings moved the ball. They just couldn't score on a wacky, weird Sunday. That's kind of how I view it. I don't think that this Jaguars defense is now ready to go slow down the Lions, something like that. I don't see it that way. But really appreciate y'all tuning in. Those are my top takeaways from this football game. Let me know what you're thinking about in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out ginjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear, become a channel member here on YouTube. Y'all try to have a good one.